Hi, some of you have known that my mother was traveling to Russia recently and she came back just yesterday. While she was there, I asked her to get me some white knights when she sees any, and that's what she brought me. It's crazy, I know. So we can unpack all of the sets and set up some palettes and test them all out. I will start with this set. This is actually the cheapest one. It's not. It's actually not white knights. It's not artist quality. These are original Russian school paints that I also will try out today. You may not know that, but I was born in Russia and moved to Germany when I was 9 years old. So I have started out painting with Russian paints, and I love them so much. They were nice, and I still have some of my old Russian school paints somewhere in a drawer. I'll make another video testing these ones out and make a comparison of the old and the current Russian school paints. The set has a little brush. I just tried to wash out the glue because I have some water here prepared. It doesn't go as smoothly as I hoped it would, but it's a brush that has somewhat of a tip here. You can see it. It's number 3, a pretty small brush. I won't probably use this, but these are the school paints. They are watercolor, they are made with honey and usually not toxic. Well, this is one of the cheaper sets that my mother brought. I haven't asked her for school paints, but that was her decision to buy me that. This is not sponsored, by the way. It was my mother going crazy in Russia. That's all it is here. Let's start with the smallest set. This is the 12 paint set by Neapolitan Paints. This is the manufacturer of white knights. They are made in St. Petersburg, and we have a nice plastic palette here that you have probably seen in many other reviews. Then we have a note saying that the set has been checked. Then we have some piece of printed watercolor paper to test this out. That's cut size, I like this a lot. And 12 paints. The paints are cadmium lemon, cadmium yellow medium, yellow ochre, cadmium red light, carmine, ultramarine, azure, emerald green, just green, umber, burnt umber, and neutral black. The burnt umber seems a little bit reddish, so the burnt umber may be close to the burnt sienna in color. This is the first palette we have. Then I have this set. The set is called Leningrad. They also have sets called St. Petersburg. They just are different in the colors within the set. So in this set we have again cadmium lemon medium, yellow ochre, raw sienna, golden, it's like golden yellow, cadmium orange, red ochre, burnt sienna, English red, scarlet, this is not light fast, Meadow Lake red light, carmine, violet is also not light fast, and ultramarine, cobalt blue, azure, emerald green, yellowish green, green, umber, moss brown, burnt umber, sepia, and neutral black. Then we have this set. As you can see, I'm going from the smallest to the biggest set here. This set has the tubes in them. Well, I haven't used white knights before at all. The first watercolor paints I was allowed to use in Russia were some also made by Neapolitan Paints, but they were called Neva. I don't think they have these paints anymore. They were artist quality, and you have to know my mother used to paint a lot back then, and I was allowed to use her precious paints. I still have some left from the old tube paints that we had back then. But it's not much. It's not much. It's only like these 5 paints here. There's also a lemon yellow, yellow ochre, an orangey color. This must be ultramarine, and this is a green, but I don't know which one. But this is what was left of my tube paints that I used when I was, I don't know, 10 maybe. So I'm pretty excited about the tubes, to be honest. In the tubes we have lemon yellow, yellow ochre, a red ochre, scarlet light, ultramarine, azure blue, emerald green, green, umber, sepia, and neutral black. If you are interested in any pigment numbers or anything, I will link the site of Neapolitan Paints down below, because I think they have informations about that there. And this is a set that actually was sent by some friends of ours that live in Russia. They sent me this huge set of watercolors, and I've sent them only some paintings in return. This is the biggest watercolor palette I have ever seen. It's huge. Like, this is a standard metal, I don't know, 40 something a palette that's currently empty. And then I have the Winsor & Newton 48 pan palette. It's smaller in size. It has a nice logo. The plastic actually feels like the one from Winsor & Newton. And the palette, like the lid and this part here, also look the same. You can detach this mixing part here from the palette. You have again the quality note and this piece of paper to swatch your paints. And there are many paints inside. This is crazy. The paints that are inside here are zinc white, that I will probably take out, cadmium yellow lemon, medium yellow ochre, golden, golden deep, Hansa yellow, Titian red, ruby, cadmium red, English red, quinacridone rose, carmine, Madder Lake red light, quinacridone lilac, violet, ultramarine, azure, cobalt blue, indanthrone blue, turquoise blue, indigo, love indigo, cerulean blue, yellowish green, emerald green, green, olive green, chromium oxide, raw sienna, burnt sienna, umber, burnt umber, moss brown, sepia, neutral black, and Payne's gray. Before I start to unpack these paints, I wanted to tell you that I have taken out the neutral black, the zinc white, and the azure blue from this 36 paint set and added the cadmium orange, the scarlet and red ochre to this set, so I have every paint I wanted to swatch out. I have left the neutral black and the azure in this set here. That will be a travel set, and have used this set for the paints that I have double. So now I can try. This is so far about the pen sets. There will be doubles in the tube sets, but I will still set up this tube palette just to be able to compare the tube paints with the pen paints.
Everyone's in love with you. You say you don't, but you don't know what's true. Night comes in and you're alone. You won't be waiting by the phone. That's what I do, but someone still needs to carry you. Said your name you can't recall. You say you won't, but you don't always know. Walk just the thoughts of you and me. Birds in my tree got something they ought to tell me. So tell me.
So let's talk White Nights. As I've mentioned in the introduction to the White Nights, there are several sets that I've got here that I have tested out, but I've also read, like this LanaGoesArt set. This one comes in 16 and 24 colors, but there's also a St. Petersburg set. I think they are different in the colors the set comes, but I couldn't find the colors that are in the St. Petersburg set. But I'm glad that I had the LanaGoesArt one, because it had some colors that I didn't have in my 36 color palette. This is the biggest one that comes in these regular pen sizes, but they also have like gift sets that comes in sizes of 12, 24, 36 and 48 colors. All in all, the White Night series has 66 colors, but I will link the site of the Neapolitan Palette down below in the description box. All informations are available in Russian and English, so you can check that out. As I've mentioned, I also got the tube set that I've used in here. In this palette. I liked it a lot because it had some colors that I didn't have in the other sets again, so I got plenty to try out. And here's the 12 colors set. Let's start with this one. This is the regular 12 pen set that I've got. It has 2 yellows, a yellow ochre, 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 greens and some browns and 1 black. I like the size of the pens, but they're actually not full pens. As you see, the pens slide out of this tray easily, so you have to be careful with that. I don't have a regular full pen here, but I have the 2 half pens. Sorry for the dentist sounds. And as you can see, one full pen of the White Night set is a little bit smaller than a regular pen, like a full pen would be of other brands. This one would still fit perfectly in your palette, but, and this is the sad thing, if you have another full pen or want to put half pens into this palette, this will not work because the tray is a little bit too small for that. I don't know if it's a big quality issue. I had some little bubbles in my pens, in all of the pen sets that I had, but it wasn't that bad, for me at least. I don't mind this. This one was the finish I painted with this set. Here I just played around with the paints a little. I like the set a lot. It's very saturated and very pigmented. Just one little touch with a wet brush and you have it full of pigment. It's very, very nice. Also, you can barely see that I've touched the pens. I actually use it for more than this one this finch. The colors blend nicely and I like this a lot. I also like the selection of the paints, but I'm not a fan of the cadmium yellows. But it's my issue with the pigments, not with the white nights. But all in all, it's quite nice. It's also very affordable if you want to buy it. Then there is the tube set. It's now, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since I squeezed the tubes into the palette. They barely shrank in size, like maybe the red, not even the yellow. In this lemon yellow, it's not the cadmium yellow that I have in the other sets. This yellow, the PI1, this lemon yellow is very, very beautiful. But I had the issue here that I had a little bit of an air bubble in the tube, and the pigment separated a little bit from the binder, but it's not a big issue for me. Just want to let you know, I didn't have this issue with any of the other colors. This ultramarine didn't shrink at all, and it's actually still pretty wet. Paints basically didn't dry up in the palette for 4 days, and it was pretty hot here, so that's fascinating. My issue with this palette was mainly that they included only one red, and it was this scarlet light red. No cold red, no pinkish red. That's an issue that I have with the set, but as I have many other paint sets, I can work with that. What I liked a lot, that there are many neutral colors in this one. Here you can see it. Because of the missing red, you can't really mix nice purples. Here you can see the mixes I've made at it. As you can see, the paints are very vibrant. I started painting 1 day after I've let this one dry. They didn't really dry in the palette. And there are some very, very nice mixes that are possible to make with these paints, but as you can see, violet or purples are just not possible. This is the finch I painted with this set. As you can see, it's quite nice. The scarlet red is more pigmented than it appears in my swatch. That's the same with the yellow ochre, but the red ochre is a little bit weak. The red ochre wasn't in the pen sets, but only in the LanaGoesArt set, so I can actually compare this with the pen paints. In all of the sets there are some mixes and some single pigments. There are actually some pretty paints and colors in this. I like the Meadow Lake Red Light a lot. I like the Hansa Yellow. I'm a little bit unsure why the Golden Deep is a lighter color than the golden, but I've looked it up on their site. The Golden Deep is lighter on the side as well. For some reason the yellow ochre is always on the lighter side in the White Nights palette. A color that I like a lot is the Indanthrene blue and the turquoise blue. I like this indigo that it has. I like when the indigo is on the bluish side, not the grayish or blackish side. I like this olive green a lot. It makes an adorable mixture with the quinacridone lilac and the quinacridone rose, by the way. Here are the paints as you can see them. The only paint that came like a little bit cracked is these yellowish green one. The others were fine. The test painting I painted with the 36 color set is this one. It's a macaw. I thought this is pretty fun and colorful, because I thought when I have so many paints to use and choose from, I can use some colorful birds to try them out. Here are my test swatches that I've played with. Here you can see the the olive green with the quinacridone rose and the quinacridone lilac. This is the cerulean blue. It's a very light color. I actually like this palette a lot. All in all, I'm pretty happy with these paints, and I'm pretty happy that there are some colors that I don't have in my main schminke palette. Therefore, I'm sure that I will use this a lot. I like this little set so much that I think it would be great for some longer travels to take with me. But I like also the vibrancy of all of these paints. I also like it that they are made with honey. It reminds me of the old paints from Neapolitan Paints that I had, that I grew up with, that my mother used to paint. They were also professional watercolors. I've probably told you already that these smaller sets were given me by my mother, and this one by a friend of mine. It's not sponsored. Everything was bought with our money. And as you can see, my mother went a little bit crazy on the shopping. I think she misses painting a lot, and she's amazing. She's just the best. So she really wanted to me to try out these paints and bought me so many sets. I asked her for one to try them, and that's what I got. I'm very thankful. If you have any questions or want me to try out something with all of these paints, just leave a comment down below. Until then, thank you for listening and watching. I will put these peat paints up on the channel separately so you can watch how the paints behave. All of them are spreading very nicely. They travel very nicely through water, and they actually, most of them bloom a little. I use it here for the background, but I don't mind it. I use this technique. This is a moleskin sketchbook. It's not the best paper, but I like to use it to try out stuff. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye.